Good morning, Fairview Middle School. Students, teachers, and administration, thank you for inviting me to speak at your year-end assembly. I'm extremely honored. I'd like to share my story with you. I hope that it inspires you to believe that you can accomplish anything in your life. My name is Sindy Hooper. I live in Ottawa and I'm 55 years old. I have the most incredible husband, John, who's a physician at the Ottawa Hospital. I have two wonderful boys in their mid-20s, and I absolutely love to swim, bike, and run. When I was in middle school, I lived here in Ottawa, and it was during this time that I really started to enjoy a lot of different sports. Through high school, I continued being active on a number of school teams. I went to the University of Ottawa for nursing and continued on for a master's degree in health administration. I played a lot of volleyball and fastball during this time. Since university, I remained active and started to play soccer. In 2008, I started running, and in 2009, I discovered triathlon. A triathlon is a swim, bike, and a run, one right after the other. They can be of different distances, from a race that lasts from 1 hour to 17 hours. I started out with a short triathlon called a sprint that has a 5-kilometer run at the end and lasts about an hour. I loved everything about triathlon and moved from shorter to longer distances. In 2012, I decided I'd like to try an Ironman, which is a 2-kilometer swim, 180-kilometer bike, and then a marathon, which is a 42.2-kilometer run. I raced my first Ironman in Mont-Tremblant, Quebec. It was an awesome day. I was trying to qualify for the Ironman World Championships in Hawaii, but just missed out. My time was 10 hours and 38 minutes, and I missed out on qualifying by 5 minutes. I had so much fun at that Ironman, I registered for another one the following summer, Ironman Canada in Whistler, BC, to try again to qualify for the World Championships in Hawaii. Through the fall, my training was going really well. I was in the best shape of my life, doing lots of swimming, biking, and running. My 50th birthday is in December. I had a few episodes of upper abdominal and mid-back pain. My skin was itchy, and I felt more fatigued than usual. On New Year's Day 2013, I went out for a run that was really difficult and then slept for 2 hours in the middle of the day, which is very unusual for me. On January 2nd, when I woke, my eyes were jaundiced, meaning that they were yellow, so John thought I might have gallstones. He took me to the Ottawa Hospital, where we went for blood work and an ultrasound. I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. We were shocked, devastated, and scared. I have no family history of cancer. I have none of the risk factors for pancreatic cancer, and I had very few signs or symptoms. I didn't even know what the pancreas did. The fact that I'm still here, alive, 5 years later is an absolute miracle. Of all cancers to get, pancreatic cancer is a really bad one. Average survival is only 6 months. 75% die within the first year. The 5-year survival rate is only 7%, the lowest by far of all major cancers. Less than a week after my diagnosis in January 2013, I had a 7.5-hour surgery called Whipple's that removed half of my pancreas, the tumor, a third of my stomach, my gallbladder, bile duct, and the first part of my small intestine. I was in the hospital for 10 days, then back at home it took 6 weeks to recover. Then, just as I recovered from the surgery, I started cancer treatments. 18 rounds of IV chemotherapy in the hospital and 28 days of radiation over a period of 8 months from February to September 2013. Through the spring and summer months of chemotherapy, I had the burning desire to take part in Ironman Canada. Remember, an Ironman is a 4-kilometer swim, 180-kilometer bike, and then a marathon. And I was only 4 months post-surgery in the middle of chemotherapy and radiation. I'd registered for the Ironman before getting cancer. I wanted to make the trip out to Whistler with my family and friends, raise awareness and funds for cancer research, and at least try to do the swim. I asked my surgeon if he thought I could do it. His response was, "I don't even know why a healthy person would want to do it, let alone someone who's going through everything that you're going through." So I took that as a yes, and I just kept on going. For months between my weekly chemotherapy sessions, I'd swim, bike, walk, and jog when I could, always feeling better when I was outside being active than lying around in the house feeling sick. At the end of the summer, between my 15th and 16th rounds of chemotherapy, John and I made the trip out to Whistler, BC, with a bunch of family and friends. Our goal was to complete the swim, and then make our way together from one aid station to the next for as long as I could without putting myself in an unsafe place. At 7:00 a.m., we started the Ironman together. We spent 16 and a half hours swimming, biking, walking, and jogging around Whistler, and at 11:28 p.m., 16 and a half hours later, we crossed the finish line together. It was an incredible day. It attracted a lot of media attention, and we raised $50,000 for cancer research. We came back to Ottawa for my last 2 rounds of chemotherapy, and I was done with cancer treatments. So no more surgeries or treatments the last 3 years, but every 6 months I go for a CT scan of my abdomen, pelvis, and chest to check for cancer return. Even though I'm 5 years post-diagnosis, the chance of my cancer coming back is still very high. And so these CT scans every 6 months are really hard and very scary, and a huge reminder for John and I to live life to the fullest and make every moment count. I get a good CT scan and we plan our next 6 months of life, traveling, racing triathlons, and spending time with those we love. The last few years, I've spent a lot of my time trying to raise awareness of pancreatic cancer, raise money for cancer research, and to inspire hope for those newly diagnosed with cancer by getting my story of survival out into the media. In 2015, I convinced 132 of my family and friends to run the Ottawa Marathon with me, and together we raised $111,000. The last 2 years, my running teams have raised another $75,000 for cancer research. Having cancer and racing Ironman triathlons have taught me a lot about patience and self-discipline. These 2 virtues are extremely important in achieving our goals. You may not embark on Ironman triathlons as I have, and I certainly hope that you never have to deal with cancer. But whatever your goals in life are, and whatever obstacles you may face, having patience and self-discipline will make your life so much easier and happier. Patience is the ability to wait and trust that what we're trying to achieve will happen. And self-discipline is the ability to stay focused on your goals, the ability to get something done even when we don't really want to. Sometimes it's easy to procrastinate because something we have to do is really hard or not that much fun. Examples of being disciplined are studying when you'd rather be out with your friends, or to be working out instead of watching TV, to eat healthy instead of having fast food. Self-discipline can also be the reverse, the ability to not do something when we're presented with an opportunity to do something that's not healthy or unsafe, but we really want to do it anyway. An example of this is smoking, or not exercising when your body needs to rest or is injured. When I had Whipple surgery to remove my cancer, all I wanted to do was get back to swimming, biking, and running with my husband and friends. But I couldn't. I was in too much pain, and my husband kept warning me that my stitches could break apart. And then, as the pain started to go away, my chemotherapy started. I was very tired and felt sick a lot of the time. I had to be patient and only exercise when I was strong enough, or I would make myself too weak and possibly miss a round of chemotherapy. When I started training for Ironman Canada while going through chemotherapy and radiation, I couldn't swim, bike, or run as fast as I wanted to. It was hard watching my friends train, but I knew I had to hold back or I'd injure myself. I had to be patient and disciplined to hold back on what I used to be able to do and what I wanted to do now. At Ironman Canada, there were time cutoffs that I had to meet or I'd be taken off the course. But at the same time, I had to be extremely disciplined not to push myself too hard because I could easily get exhausted, not be able to continue, and worse, compromise my cancer treatments. Ironman training and racing in general is a huge test of patience and self-discipline. It takes years to build the endurance needed for an Ironman event, and having the patience and self-discipline to not do too much too fast is the key to consistent, long-term, healthy, and happy training. In Ironman racing, there's a saying about only having so many matches to burn. Push too hard on the bike, and the run will quickly be transformed to a walk. And walking a marathon or a half marathon when you're intending to race it is no fun at all. I think it's awesome to dream big and set huge goals, but it takes patience and self-discipline to achieve great things. Stay focused, work hard, and you'll discover that anything is possible. If If you'd like to connect with me, I'm active on Instagram and Facebook, and I wish for all of you the most incredible, healthy, and happy life. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of your day.